we say good morning to our listeners, good morning to our viewers. Welcome. It's To The Point. It's Tuesday, the 25th day of November. 2025. Good morning to those of you of our social media platforms. How are you doing this morning? The YouTube channel, your Facebook pages. Good morning. Welcome. It's Tuesday once again, and it's Opposition Tuesday on today's edition of To The Point, and we have representing on the program this morning the opposition. We have, of course, Mr. Christopher Allie Jr. with us this morning. Good morning to you, sir. How you doing? Welcome back. How's it say on the program?
Good morning, GT, and good morning to all your listeners and to everyone out there. Happy and good morning Tuesday.
Yeah. Christmas approaching, right?
Yeah, boy. Coming fast.
Christmas is approaching. We're already in the latter days of the month of November.
Yeah.
Before you know it, I was saying the other day to someone, hey, November, we're in the month of November. We're in the month of November. Now we are going out on the month of November.
Yeah.
Before you know, December pops in on us, and Christmas, then we're thinking 2026.
Mm-hmm.
It's
New Year on us already.
Yes. So, how's everything going, man? How's everything going?
Good, GT. All things considered, I think we're facing a different situation in Grenada, and as a caretaker for my constituents in the south of St. George, which is the economic basin of this country, I'm hearing a lot from people, and I'm getting a sense that we're having a serious affordability crisis in Grenada, and I just wanted to start to speak about that, because I think part of representation is also echoing the views of the people who are felt unheard, and they feel that their cries are not being heard, and I'm just that voice for those cries. I want to be able to tell people how many people on the ground are feeling right now.
So you've been the caretaker for the South for the last couple of months. How has it been for you? Has it settled in on you a wee bit, if I can ask that question?
It took a little while, GT, I'll be honest. I was not ever expecting in my life to go into public service. And going in as a caretaker in opposition is a completely different reality. But I have to say, maybe this time, maybe it's obviously meeting more and more people and getting more comfortable, but I'm starting to not just enjoy the work, but I'm starting to enjoy meeting my people, starting to know my neighbors in a very deep and intrinsic way, and getting a deep bond and sense of camaraderie and struggle with them. And I'm starting to really get my stride. Starting to make moves within the constituency, and I'm being very comfortable. I'm very happy.
The expectations, though, is it what you expected in terms of being, it's getting into that political realm, as you would say. Is it what you expected? As being in the opposition, you thought it would have been an easier ride for you, or would you expect? Or you thought, well, it would have been a really tough ride as it is opposition? Rolling the narrative in those ways. Yeah, is with the expectations. Is it what you expected?
I think I had no expectations. I think going in, I was kind of going in with most of my loved ones and things didn't want me in politics already. So I felt like going in, I was kind of breaking free from the mold already.
Okay.
So I didn't have any expectations. What I would say is that when coming in, a lot of people did tell me, politics is a very dirty game. I don't know how a young person like you would go in that. That is, that's such a tough thing to do. I don't, and I'm personally in it, being in it, walking on the streets, being in the supermarkets, the bars, everywhere. I don't feel that. I feel love, honestly. I feel people coming up to me, even they may support a different party. Yeah. They come to give me advice. They'll say, such and such, you need to do that better. Y'all didn't do that before. You need to change it up as a young person. I feel a sense of the community wanted to see more young people in it, and that it was a hunger and a thirst that our nation didn't know we had. And being there in the community, I get to listen a lot more, and I don't feel that kind of politics and dirty spoke. I don't try to use dirtiness in politics. To me, I believe we're all Grenadians.
You may not have to use it, but it may come your way.
It will come, and so it may be.
It may come your way. You may not be in you as an individual, but it certainly will come your way, because it's a way of getting you grounded, as some folks would say.
I'm not easily rattled. I'm not easily rattled.
Let me get into this political. Recently I've been that you've been a bit vocal, especially in the states of the sidewalks and the road safety and all of things like that. I have noticed video you've been on social media a wee bit, pondering upon that.
Yeah.
Especially as someone who's into the fitness part of things. You run, you promote healthy living, and so forth. Why no? Someone say why no? After all these years, Christopher been noticing that, and why is it no that you how would you respond to that?
First of all, it's not no. I've been noticing that. I've been running on the road for over a decade. I've always noticed it because it's been my safety at risk. I can't run with headphones on. I have to always run at the opposite end of the road to make sure I'm facing traffic to see how traffic operates. I mean, it has been an issue for myself personally for a decade. I have the platform now in which to call it out.
Okay.
I don't think that people saying, oh, you represent a party that's been there for 23 plus years and they haven't addressed it. I think that's an unfair thing to hoist because a generation guided the country for 23 years and did the best of their ability given what they had.
Okay.
Our population has changed dramatically over that time. Our generations have shifted. We have more vehicles on the road today. We have more households who can afford vehicles more today. And our roads and our ability for our roads to handle that has changed. So therefore, I'm a younger politician and I have a newer way of doing things. So I want to express something that was personal to me that I believe should have been addressed. Every generation has the responsibility to bring forth what's important to them. And I believe in the context of Grenada, we need to promote a healthier type of lifestyle where people can go on the roads and take a walk with their children on a stroller, go walk with their dog, see the neighbors pass and say, hey, how you doing, Miss Mary? We need to feel safe, going through our neighborhoods. And traffic is something that is ever-present danger. Some people may not be distracted and just swing badly and they end up on someone. That is unfortunate. Yeah. But we need to start thinking proactively. How do we protect our pedestrians? How do we protect our road users? And do it in a context that fits our country. I know it's impossible to widen every road and put every sidewalk, but in neighborhoods that we have residential houses more than commercial, we need to create neighborhoods and park systems where that people can move around their neighborhoods comfortably and create that kind of integration of planning and urban development so that our communities are more transformed in a way that suits us. And that is really what I'm promoting.
Tell me something. I listen to you speak. You talk a lot about the roads. How narrow they are. You spoke about vehicles that it's at a level that is becoming a little more uncontrollable on the island right now. And homes have been built right on the edges of the road and so forth. And you say, as we 20 years late in talking about that, you said it's not too late to speak about it because yes, you may say the new National Party has been in power for a number of years. Maybe they should have handled that. You spoke of a different generation now. We are seeing things differently than that particular generation. Maybe it was okay for them. All right, I understand that. Would you say, or you say that is that realistic, that particular path, how realistic it is in terms of improving that network that we see in terms of the roads and so forth in Grenada? Is it realistic that we could improve it the way it is right now? Could it be done?
I think it's completely realistic. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, we have laws on the books that do say that you have to build a certain distance away from the
people building that back.
I agree. And in certain communities, you have to admit that what's done is done. It's done. Right. And you can't change that situation. You could improve the drainage, you could improve the contours of the road to make sure that it's good for people. But the reality is that some communities have to shift. I mean, in certain, when you have newer communities starting, take for example, in the community of the Valley, take for example, that is a community that's growing and it's continually growing. And this is a time where the government should step in and start to make the planning preparations long in advance of the people that's going to be there eventually.
We can't be doing things as we were doing before.
No, we can't be reactionary. I don't think we have to sit down with stakeholders. I believe we have award-winning architects. urban planners who have climate degrees from Morocco and all these countries that they went to scholarships and learned these skills. Young people. No, I am the caretaker. I'm not a know-it-all in everything in architecture and urban planning and engineering. That is upon me to pull the best talent possible. The engineers, the urban planners, the different stakeholders, the community, the businesses along the road. How can we make the community better? I don't believe in a top-down approach. I believe in a bottom-up approach. I believe in an approach where we involve a lot of our community people, the people who have businesses there for 20-something years, and attain a livelihood for their families from it. You can't just make a huge shift in infrastructure and then kill that business. What will you do for their livelihood and their families? You can't just make haphazard decisions that affect people. I think a government's role is to seriously take in context all concerns of the citizens, not just a business, not just the stakeholders and what you have to do for your country, but also how they feel about the approach.
Okay.
And that is what I think we need to start talking about.
Oh, great. We drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the discussion. It's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back after the short break. Don't touch it out. Stay with us.
On October 28, Jamaica was struck by Hurricane Melissa, a catastrophic Category 5 storm that ripped through communities, leaving families homeless and hope shaken. But Grenada is standing with our Caribbean brothers and sisters. The Rotary Clubs in Grenada, in partnership with Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Grenada Broadcasting Network, present Project Ascension, Rise Jamaica, a national telethon to support relief and rebuilding efforts on the island. Join us Wednesday, November 26th, 8:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. for an evening of powerful stories, on-location live reports, stirring performances, and your opportunity to help Jamaica rise again. Project Ascension, Rise Jamaica on GBN Television. One region, one people, one mission to rise.
To celebrate culture, creativity, and community. It's the Kamahon Folk and Buy Local Festival happening on Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th at the Sates Bus Terminal in St. Patrick. Friday, December 5th will be the opening night with prayers and worship. Then feel the rhythm ride with theater performances. On Saturday, December 6th, it's Market Day and cultural celebration in Sates. Come celebrate our roots with Asaraka. Sunday, December 7th, it's the grand finale. Folk celebration. We close the festival with pure culture, the rich traditions that makes us who we are. So mark your calendars. Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th. Sates Bus Terminal, Kamahon Folk and Buy Local Festival. This event is brought to you by Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture
in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, our viewers, once again. Let me say welcome back, of course, to Mr. Christopher D. Allie Jr. He's the caretaker for the south is it South St. George?
South St. George.
South St. George.
Yeah.
All right. I want to continue on a conversation we left off. We were speaking about the roads and all of these things, you know. Now, there's a strong public reaction to the recent road repairs, especially in the south of the island. Some people say that, you know, the public is never satisfied, you know, and how do we view this particular concern per se? What do you think caused this particular backlash in terms of what we saw happening in the south, in terms of where we were told there's a particular new road directions in terms of you had to take the road, then it had to be pulled back and so forth. Talk to me about how you feel in recent to that, in this recent development. How you feel about that?
Well, I try not to like speak on like things I do not know much about. So like before I spoke about the road issue, I went to different businesses, communities, people who live on the side of the road. I asked them, how are you dealing with it, you know? I spoke to people who were consultants with NAWASA. I spoke to the Bus Association president for Grand Anse and nationally. I spoke to different stakeholders to understand the issue in depth. And what I felt is that we all could agree we all need greater development in infrastructure. If anything, I'm a candidate who 100% believes in more infrastructure, greater urban development, and greater urban planning.
Making life easier for the regular Grenadian.
I completely agree with that. We need that. Now, the UK SIF project was approved and they knew this was going to happen. No, it didn't just was forced upon them. You have consultants involved, you have technocrats, you have stakeholders, you have the businesses along these roads. Now, how much of the plans were communicated, timelines given, how much of these things were properly distributed to all the people living in the neighborhood so they understand what is going on? I did not want to speak about the bus issue because I felt it was something that I believed in, which was in greater infrastructure work.
Yes.
But when I saw how much inconsideration was for the people, the fact is there's a friend of mine who has a shop in Grand Anse, and his business, he sells food there, he sells drinks, and his business has been affected almost 60%. He's calling me some mornings stressed and panicked because he's worried how could he make his bills at the end of the month. Now, if we have to do infrastructure work and it has a period, 3 to 4 months period, and we know that this is the basin, economic basin of the country, so much lives and livelihoods will be affected along this road. Therefore, we should have put in, if it was double the effort to get the works pressure tested, paved, done in a timely manner, so that people would have been least affected. Now, if that couldn't have happened, all I was asking for was complying with certain requests by the residents who wanted greater visibility of understanding, a greater understanding of when and how the problem was going to be solved. And a lot of people's questions were not being answered.
But there were a level of consultation that was done. I wouldn't say no. We hear from time to time government did have consultation with different parts of the communities in the constituency. Well, what the question of what you speak of now, was this question asked by the residents within the community?
Residents knew of the work. I agree.
I understand they knew of the work.
Yeah.
You understand.
But
the problem that they're experiencing.
Yeah. Like for example, like many kids who are close by, live by the road and stuff, are affected by asthma and dust. A lot of the hotels on the road, most of their customers would sometimes leave the hotel and walk along or run along the sidewalks in Grand Anse and that kind of thing. That is hard to do now with all the dust in the air. All the businesses that have people who are coming. This is our busiest tourism period. There are many hotels and Airbnbs along that road. How much of them can't even open their window to get some fresh air in the morning because they're met with a blast of dust? All these things, I agree, are inconveniences.
I mean, they're expecting folks to understand the inconvenience at the time because the project that is there is needed.
Yeah.
Not that it's not a project that is not needed at this time. So we're expecting the inconvenience of it. But what I'm saying is that Many people will argue that the current inconvenience is temporary. We understand. We don't expect it to go on forever.
I don't expect.
We don't expect it to go on forever. And part of the long-term plan is the criticism towards the work justified? If I may ask you that, sir. Is it justified? And are people reading before or reading things differently before the entire process is completed?
I think it is justified because remember, people bear a burden of the cost that is on their vehicles. For the bus association guys, that is a slower amount of time in traffic to the day, so you get less time to make your trips. So you don't make as much money. Your suspension and your wear and tear on your bus is extremely increased. You have to sometimes put on the AC in your bus now because too much dust coming into the bus. So therefore, you're increasing your cost on gas.
Yes.
So all these are financial burdens are placed upon the people. So the criticisms that I think is completely warranted, because when people have to bear these costs, they also have to ask themselves, how long can I keep doing this for? So it is upon any administration to make sure that cost is softened, that blow is softened to the people as much as possible. That is really what we're seeing. We're seeing like we implore greater infrastructure work. We just want the kind of consideration that puts people first, that puts their lives and livelihood first, because yes, it will take some time, but can we shorten that time with greater increase of like guys who are doing paving work, guys, greater use of other construction companies who can complete the digging up and laying up the pipes even faster? Can we double the work so that it would have, instead of 3 months, a month and a half? If it's not possible, then let's work on finding a ways to make it most comfortable for people.
I want to get your views on this. Some members of the public felt that the drivers acted selfishly. We're talking about the bus drivers in recent where they are threatened to strike. And how would you encourage bus operators, sir, to balance their own concerns with with a wider goal in terms of the national development?
First of all, I know a few bus drivers. Yeah. And bus drivers are the same members of the community that they serve sometimes.
That's so true.
They know the kids who are waiting on the side of the road. They know who's coming up for what time to go to work in the morning. They are integral parts of the community. These bus drivers are not heartless people. They are Grenadians also. They are striving to make a profit and a life for themselves and their family, operating a bus. And a bus has a lot of risk and costs associated. So I don't think we should just throw it on the criticisms on bus drivers. I think a little empathy to what they're doing, because bus drivers could be fighting for an increase in prices right now, with the increased costs. They are not. They are trying to find a workaround with the government. When I spoke to the president of the Bus Association, he was very much adamant that they're working with the government to try to find a way forward. Sometimes, they do not hear much from the government side in terms of relaying information that affects their association. So sometimes they have to take measures that help, bolster their respect in society and what they contribute to the running of our country. So I don't believe it's justified to throw all the heap and blame on bus drivers. I think we have to put ourselves in the same position, because I'm a private person and I'm driving my vehicle and I'm cussing every day when I'm hitting a big hole in the road. I don't know.
I can concur with you also.
Yeah, I don't know how it is to have a bus with 15 or 16 other people in the bus with weight and then hit a hole in the road. That hitting your suspension and shocks a lot harder. So
we go back to what I mentioned. We know this is temporary.
Yeah, I agree.
We understand it's temporary. But you are saying that, some measures should have been taken where this could have been sped up some way or the other. You understand? There are areas that we see that nothing is taking place there for now. Could that section be taken care of? But I understand the pressure testing and all of that. You don't want to have to fix that portion or repair it per se, and then pressure test done and you have to have to be dumped up again. Yeah. All of that is understandable. Yeah. But you understand the magnitude of traffic in that particular area is of a concern.
Agreed.
It's where our major airport is. One of the major shopping areas is in that particular area also. So a lot of attention should be given into that particular area, and, you know, to have it sped up as in the quickest way as possible.
There's too much economically in the South that, you know, you can't just like say, oh, it's an inconvenience. Most people, like, when you go pick up your relatives in a hotel, they're down in the South.
Yes.
You're going to drop your relatives to the airport, they're passing through the South. You're going to do groceries, you're going on Lime, you're going to go to a nice restaurant, you're going down to the South. The South does a lot for everybody in Grenada. And I just believe that, yes, I agree we need greater infrastructure work. I agree it's an inconvenience now. I'm just saying, can the inconvenience be done be shortened into the people? Can it be something that we need to do greater infrastructure work? So can we get it right now so that we can do better later on? Because if we see all these issues that we're not communicating right with the stakeholders, we're not making sure these are done timely, what happens when we have to do bigger infrastructure works? What happens when we have to tackle bigger problems in our country?
Well, someone may challenge you by saying the quality of the work depends on the nature and on the speed that it goes to also. You try to rush something and then you may not get the best quality out of it. If you understand where I'm coming from in this. So is it because of the quality that they're trying, so that for the long haul, so we don't have to do that in the next 30 years, we'll say? Could be the reason why it's going at a pace that it's going at?
I'm not an engineer, but I would say I think the works for a layman is pretty simple. You're digging up the ground, you're laying new pipes, you are making sure those pipes are sealed, and then once a certain section is done, you pressure test to make sure no leaks on that pipe, and then you seal the ground. If I'm being rudimentary, but I think that is.
I mean, we're not the engineers. To know
but that is more or less what I'm saying, right? That it just seems to be an act of coordination between the NOASA, the people who are doing the digging and paving back, and making sure the coordination between these different private entities happen in a seamless manner, so that the government's monies could be, you know, utilized in the best possible way, and to make sure the people can see that the work is being done the fastest. There's a part of the road by CK's right now that has been cut. It has been I would say like compacted to be paved, and that has been done for almost 3 days now. No vehicles are passing on that part of the road every time. It's going to dig up the compacted stuff. Rain is going to fall. It's going to be dig up again. That same road unit now has to go back again and do the same work again. Now, what happened? Where is the person doing the paving? Where is the asphalt and the mix coming in to pave that once they do that work? Probably that's not. There were
some statements made that, you know, some works are going to start in terms of paving a couple of weeks ago.
And it
still haven't seen anything started.
And we still haven't seen it. But I'm not saying there probably are complications.
Yes.
But why are not telling us these complications? Because I'm seeing a part of the road that's ready to be paved right now, and it's not paved. No, that's 3 days going. What happens when they do get the asphalt? They have to restart the same work again. No, that is just spending money badly, in my view. That is doing the same problem issues you're saying that, you know, like we do agree that we need infrastructure, but the inconvenience, we're going back the same way you said you want to dig back up, but we're doing it in a different manner. I'm saying make sure there's better coordination, make sure there are right technocrats involved, make sure that things are done in a timely manner, make sure the people and the stakeholders are the least inconvenience, because all these things have cost, and the public is bearing a lot of cost right now. It is increasing Glen bills, it's increasing your grocery bills, it's increasing all bills. I know you had a height now. You're coming to work more frustrated because you're in traffic longer. Your vehicle's taken never clean because it's always taking some sort of mud, and you have to take some bad road. All these things are unnecessary, but sometimes necessary. I'm seeing greater coordination in giving information, addressing the needs of the people, and making sure people are put first. Their needs are put first. Their lives and their livelihoods are put first.
All right, understandably so. We due for a break, Mr. Allie. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We due for that break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us. Don't touch it down.
All around the world, rat infested.
October 28, Jamaica was struck by Hurricane Melissa, a catastrophic Category 5 storm that ripped through communities, leaving families homeless and hope shaken. But Grenada is standing with our Caribbean brothers and sisters. The Rotary Clubs in Grenada, in partnership with Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Grenada Broadcasting Network, present Project Ascension, Rise Jamaica, a national telethon to support relief and rebuilding efforts on the island. Join us Wednesday, November 26th, 8:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. for an evening of powerful stories, on-location live reports, stirring performances, and your opportunity to help Jamaica rise again. Project Ascension, Rise Jamaica on GBN Television. One region, one people, one mission to rise.
Get ready to celebrate culture, creativity, and community. It's the Kamahon Folk and Buy Local Festival happening on Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th at the Sates Bus Terminal in St. Patrick. Friday, December 5th will be the opening night with prayers and worship. Then feel the rhythm ride with theater performances. On Saturday, December 6th, it's Market Day and cultural celebration in Sates. Come celebrate our roots with Asaraka. Sunday, December 7th, it's the grand finale. Folk celebration. We close the festival with pure culture, the rich traditions that makes us who we are. So mark your calendars. Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th. Sates Bus Terminal, Kamahon Folk and Buy Local Festival. This event is brought to you by Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture
in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development.
This holiday season, let the Monica Benoit Wonderland of Lights lead the way to Christmas at the Point. Starting November 30th, the Quarantine Point Recreational Park transforms into a glowing wonderland with dazzling light displays that are the true showstoppers of the season. Take a magical tuk-tuk tunnel ride through twinkling arches. Explore Santa's grotto, cozy up with a picnic blanket under the stars, and savor delicious eats from local vendors. Entry is just $5 for walk-ins, $10 per carload, and $20 for premium carload parking. Plus, grab a cozy picnic blanket for only $40 and enjoy the season in style. Special pricing applies for New Year's Eve. Visit our Instagram or Facebook pages at Rotary Club of Grenada Events for more details. It's holiday fun for the entire family every night from 5 p.m. till midnight, and it all supports the charitable work of the Rotary Club of Grenada. Christmas at the Point. When the sun sets, the wonder begins. Mark your calendars. It all begins November 30th.
The Grenada Electricity Services Limited advises that on Wednesday, 26th November 2025, our customer care centers at Bruce Street Mall and Dusty Highway Grandans will be open from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Our Grenville branch will be closed for the day. This closure is to facilitate a staff meeting. We apologize for any inconvenience caused.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again to The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We have Mr. Christopher Allie with us this morning, Christopher Allie Jr. with us this morning, and of course, he's the NMP's caretaker for the South St. George. Mr. Allie, welcome back once again. I want to switch the conversation just a wee bit. You push a lot of health, you know, like health, should I say healthy lifestyle and you know, these kind of particular, you know, and you push that publicly. Mm-hmm. You know, I guess you're someone into that. What's your honest view on the health standards per se in Grenada today? And how do we motivate young people in particular who spend hours gaming and of course and wants to adopt healthier habits and so forth? How do you do that?
I mean, That is a very complex question. I'll try to take that in parts. I believe that we need to have a health renaissance in Grenada.
Yeah.
I'm seeing so much young people on a death announcement lately. People are barely hitting 50 right now. And when you talk to the amount of cancers you're hearing right now in society, everybody, including my family, has been affected by cancer. So now I think it's not just health in terms of like I get up and go to the gym or go run. That's a little part vanity because I don't want to keep the belly growing or anything like that. But I try to like do the best to like eat well. Yeah. And eating well is extremely expensive. It is. If you go and buy a couple head of broccoli, some carrots, some spinach, some pak choy, and you add greens. If you get real fancy, some yellow yam and some other things, your bill is getting extremely high in the supermarket. Yeah. Eating healthy is extremely expensive, and also we need to create a type of lifestyle in Grenada which promotes a healthy type of more running, more areas where people can go jogging and all these other parts. But also in terms of our food system, how much of our foods are GMO foods that are being grown? How much of our corns? When I was younger, I was by my grandmother in Sates, and she used to have so many corns on the top in an egg room that's drying for next season to plant. Purple corn, all different colors of corn, and I don't see that anymore in Grenada. We import all our seeds. We use heavy amount of pesticides in farms right now. Or the same pesticides when rain falls and stuff seep into the ground and the water table, and we end up drinking those types of pesticides. These are all things we do know and demand for a systematic rethink about how we think about health. It needs to start from the base, I think, in the food system. We need to start creating a seed bank for agriculturists so that we start to create keep our own genetics that are specific to Grenada, and be able to source our own genetics and be able to give those seeds to farmers on different planting seasons that are not always imported. We need to start thinking about that in type of our food system, to creating a resilient food system. We need to think about how do we create types of activities from young as primary school. Yes, I know we have sports and different types of cross country and all these things, all well and good, because it inculcates children to understand health is important from a young age. But also we need to create a type of system that focuses on seniors also. Where do seniors go when they're retired to make sure they they do yoga and stretch their muscles? In China, nearly every park you see about 100 people doing their morning workouts and things. We need to start.
But I understand where you're coming from with this, but it comes where everyone on that for that to happen, it has to happen on an individual basis.
Yeah,
individuals have to think for themselves. That's the lifestyle I want. You understand? And you could say it's you could preach it. The authorities could preach it. Yeah. But if GT said he wants to eat what he wants to eat, he could eat what he wants to eat. You understand?
I agree.
But I'm saying if the message has been brought across on a constant basis, letting people know healthy lifestyle is important. It leaves up to the individual wanting to change. And we could say, plant all the good foods and eat all the good foods, but it's an individual choices. That's.
I agree.
You understand?
Some of it is individual choices, and some of it is cultural habits as well.
Sometimes it's difficult to break for some reason.
I agree. Sometimes every time I get called to a boy's lime, it's like brown down and going down, oil down, heavy food, and we eating and we drinking, and it's sometimes late, and all that stays on your stomach, and it takes long to digest. We still have people who eat more starches and heavier food, like if we're still working 8-hour days doing physical activity
on a daily basis too.
On a daily basis. And when most of us go to office and we sit down, and whether that food, how do we process and burn that energy off? I see, personally, I see GTA, who's doing an excellent job in promoting a type of cultural change in how we look at our food, showcasing different types of ways to cook food, our local food, and these kind of things. I think that's amazing. Even encouraging the veganism that's going on in our country and how to cook vegetables and cut out so much meat out of your diet and cut out so much carbs. And I'm seeing things happen, but I'm seeing it happen on a generational basis.
Yeah.
The younger generation is a lot concerned about their health.
Well, how can we get that across the board, sir?
I think we have to create some policy. We need to create some policy on a governmental level that promotes this, that make it a rigorous part of our thing. When I was in Curacao once, I saw the entire city transform on a Sunday to all the streets were playground for children. Yeah. All the bars and restaurants were there for adults to watch sports and enjoy. And the kids were it was a societal thing where they leave the home, they go and chill with their wife and their friends, and the kids just are all around the city playing hopscotch, small goal football, basketball, and letting them mix and mingle. I think culturally we need more of that in our society. That's just an idea, but I'm saying in policy initiatives, there's things that we can do. There are things you can start putting in policy from schools. You can start putting it into how we develop an urban plan our environments to make sure kids have more opportunities to play sports than is to sit on the block and play wappy. These are the things that we want to encourage. And I don't believe in the stick. I believe in a carrot. I believe people can find the better angels if you create the right policy and the right incentives to make people go towards a healthier lifestyle.
Tell me, healthcare has remained a consistent concern, for citizens in Grenada. What do you believe should be the priorities or the steps to improve healthcare, delivery and especially to get it access in Grenada?
I think healthcare, what it misses mostly in Grenada is money. When I look at the budget for what health is in Grenada, it doesn't cross more than 3 million, more or less. Maybe changing in this budget cycle, maybe not. But I don't see a huge budget for health in our country, nor can the governmental budget handle a massive budget for creating a lot of health areas in the country. We have polyclinics and all these things to staff it, to maintain it, to make sure all the right equipment and drugs are in there. Maybe we need to rethink it, and our administration was the one who really was pushing the national health insurance. I believe the system needs money, and for that to happen, we need a group think about that. Pooling our resources as a country to invest in a national health insurance I think is the most, or probably the best strategy for us to deal with health. Because, say, hypothetically, I can't remember how much NIS pulls in a month from the country, but I'm sure it's in upwards of a few million. Well, what that money that NIS was comparatively probably lower in a health way, and we had a national health insurance, and employees and employers paid into it, and you have a gold package, a silver package, a platinum package if you have a family and you have 3 kids. That money now would be given to the clinics, to the doctors. A card can be going around and tap into when you have to go to a doctor instead of worrying about that $150. You just have to pay when you see them.
A key word that we're missing here is affordability. Yeah?
Affordability is a thing.
And it's a conversation we're hearing around the world today.
Yeah.
Lots of governments, affordability. Could Grenada really afford it? Could we as Grenadians, I should say, afford it?
Well, I think affordability also has to be weighed against our own balance of what we think is important. Yeah. Because to me, health is wealth.
It is.
You know what I mean? It don't make no sense you work so hard and do anything and you can't enjoy the life you built if you're not healthy. Health has to be a priority for our country so we can get the best efficiency out of our people. Do you know how much businesses I talk to and business owners I talk to that say they have about 2 or 3 employees who are on sick leave every month? Every month. I can't say if they're actually sick or not, but we have to rethink about how do we deal with mental health in our country, because that is a part of health. Yeah. How do we deal with people who go through depression and go through mental episodes and go through anxiety attacks? No, we can't pay like the country. I know professionals who are proper therapists and trained people, but they can't work in Grenada because there's no money. All I'm saying is that collectively, if we pool our resources and focus it to, like, there'll be some people on a higher wage bracket who will pay in higher into a system like that. But that will make sure there has a level of equity involved for all Grenadians, so that make sure that we can put money into health, so that what clinic can open to do just diabetes, so that the, diabetics can go to a clinic and check on their feet to make sure that we don't have so much amputations in the hospital every month. To make sure that they have their sugar is balanced, they do a sugar test, make sure they have the right mobility, make sure the circulation is okay. These are clinics that are focused purely for diabetics, and we have a huge diabetic population in Grenada. Yeah. We can't have those clinics if we don't have proper ways of funding those programs. And as a governmental, any government, I believe, especially the National Party, always believe in health. Now, we also believe that the government cannot put in all. We need to get a hand-in-hand basis with the public to make sure the public and the government can drive the health issue forward. So that is what I believe. I believe we need a national health insurance. We need to pool our resources together and put capital into the economy to make sure we bring back all those Grenadians who got degrees from SGU and working and living in the States. Bring them back. Let them come and open their own clinics and bring back their expertise, so that we could same money that we're being made in Grenada can be serving Grenadians who are educated and professionals, and get the best for Grenadians living here.
All right. We get into that stage of the morning where we're going to have to wrap the regular conversation. Sure. And my phones are going, because I know there are listeners or viewers who want to chime in on us this morning. But I have one final question I want to ask before we switch. You are very critical of the MPs receiving, the new vehicles.
Yeah.
I heard your criticism. Others may argue that there's never a perfect time. Mm-hmm. Folks may argue that. They say, yeah, never a perfect time. And constituencies still need representation per se. How do you think we can move the conversation from criticism to create that nation building? Or creating that nation building instead of just a mere criticism of what took place? That's my final question to you this morning, sir, before we go to the phone lines.
I don't believe what I lobbied was criticism. If anything, I was just more or less opening the question of prioritization. Mm-hmm. Because when this government came in, I agreed, and they prioritized making sure MPs and government officials were adequately paid and they had enough funds to do the jobs that they needed to do. Now, I believe in also, once that has happened and you increase a budget for government bills and paying their salaries, I believe that now prioritization also needs to be put onto the things that help people. And I don't see the problem in MPs having vehicles to help the constituents. But I also believe in the prioritization of those needs. What is the return on that capital deployed? We say if they spend $1 million on those vehicles, can that $1 million be served elsewhere? If it was that we already budgeted for that and we already had that money there, couldn't that money be redistributed to serve a greater need that the country is facing right now? That is all I was stating. Okay. I was not so saying that, condemning that the government officials don't need assets to do the job of the people, but I'm saying that we need to prioritize where do we put capital, because at the end of the day, the capital of the government is the taxpayers' money, and taxpayers need to see distribution of their capital done in a way that helps grow the country. And I don't think a lot of people, when you ask them, they don't see how a vehicle given to an MP right now is going to greatly improve their situations in their homes right now. How would that help them afford groceries better? Okay. How would them deal with their problems? So that's all I'm saying.
Okay, great. Understandable. So 435-2041, you have double the options, as I would say always, the WhatsApp and the direct line. If you want to chime in on the conversation this morning, 435-2041. We do our first caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
A pleasant good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
I have been listening very carefully, and made
Caller, before you continue, your radio or your television may be a bit turned up. Would you mind turning it down, please? We're getting that feedback.
Okay. Is this all right now?
Go right ahead, please.
Yes, I've been listening very carefully, and I want to ask this question. Was a survey made with, say, a section of government, with the bus drivers, those that own private vehicles, hoteliers, after that survey, you hold a meeting, get the views of the persons mentioned. We had Nawasan in with it. Then after that meeting, a decision would be agreed upon. The persons concerned mentioned, bus drivers, etc., etc. And after this has happened, and you go in there, I don't think we'd have had this problem now, because it would be the people making the decision. Politicians don't only just go to the people when they want to vote. I've been listening very carefully, and I think if this was done, we wouldn't reach that stage. No, thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. You want to respond to the caller?
I think the caller said exactly what I think a lot of people are thinking, that there should have been a lot more stakeholder engagement, and we wouldn't have this issue. There was a lot of stakeholder engagement.
Okay, we do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
I listened to the young man express himself, and at the same time, one can sound educated, but at the same time, one can sound as if they're out of timing or they're out of tune to the reality. Because oftentimes I really realize the opposition forces, there is something called systemic avoidance of reality. The truth of the matter is, with every developing country, you have to sacrifice for progress. Progress comes with a sacrifice. And I'm hearing the gentleman speaking about health. Yes, we all need health. Even when they spoke about the sugar and all the troubling factors relating to health, they criticize the government for doing certain things. Now, what I'm saying is, right, you have this government, under the leadership of Deacon Mitchell, putting a lot of things in place, innovations, and look at his drive towards having every household in Grenada, trying to educate them, having a university graduate. Recently, we've heard of the 30 people signing up to do medical for doctors in Grenada that we needed so much. And, you had a government that's been in power for over 23 years, and they never saw it fit to do those things. So when I hear so-called young people come now, which they never set that platform, which they never had the futuristic drive and the bird's eye view to see what this government is doing now, and they only song as if they're critiquing. It marvels me. GT, I will never, come and ever try to talk about any government or defend any government and lie. We have our political, people that we love and so on. But to come and lie on the air and give an impression, this is what I'm not going to do. So I'm speaking of fact. The government is doing pretty well. People are seeing that. And don't try to score political points and try to say things which if your people before you, the people who led the so-called party you're dealing with, they could have put all these things in place. They never had foresight. They never had the vision. And this government, no. They're doing what they have to do, and you should applaud them. Have yourself a good day, GT.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. You want to respond to the caller in any way, sir?
I mean, the caller's taking a personal view of how we managed in government for 23 years. Also, in that space of time, NDC also had time administration of those times also. So I personally am proud of what my foremothers and forefathers in the party have done and what they have tried to do for the country. And I've always told people it's incumbent for a new generation to take the baton where it has been left and help grow and better the country. So I take all this criticism, and I understand that we should continue on the path and do better for our country.
Okay, great. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Well, thank you, Mr. Telesford. Greetings and greetings to your guest, Mr. Allie. I hope you did your homework because I'm coming to it in a while. First of all, I want to say, I have you stressing, sir, on being a quote-unquote caretaker. Let's get it straight. The dictionary will tell you that caretaker is a person with authority. Whether you're looking after somebody's property, mobile or immobile, or you may be looking after a person, you have authority. You have to respond to somebody. There is always an authority behind you. So, in fact, you as a person aspiring towards a political position cannot consider yourself to be a caretaker. You're an aspirant, sir, in the English language. Just a bit of pedantry. Let's go to the meat of the matter. Couple of years, not years, months ago, I asked you when you were on board here, similarly on this program, I introduced to you a document that was published in 2022 because I was very much concerned about the young people who have a right to promote themselves to take the current situation of this country into the future. And you made some very important declarations this morning. I want to stress on two things that you spoke about. I'm concerned, so I'll match it with that question that I left with you the last time. You used the term bottom-up instead of top-down management and organization. Perfect. And there's a simple reason why that's the most effective, because it's at the bottom that you establish the quote-unquote foundation. So I fully agree with you, and I'm happy that you have recognized that, sir. You went on to speak of systematic rethinking. Powerful expression. This is where the question of the constitutional architecture of this country comes in. I hope you did that research. Read the document 2002 when we were recommended by a commission set up by the state, the Governor General then, to redo the constitution of this country and make it our own by patriating it. Have you studied that document? What is your view today after having done so? So that these things that you talk about, which are quite correct, can be really put into place. Because we've been just in deja vu over and over the same thing for 50 plus years, bluffing ourselves, creating conditions for more sleaze and malfeasance and diku, which is deceit, hypocrisy, injustice, corruption, and untrustworthiness, bluffing the people while the political class enjoying themselves. So I trust my question is understood. What do you think about the reconstitution of this nation? Thank you very much, sir, for what it's worth.
Thank you, sir. Respond to the call.
I just wanted to say to Citizen Rolo that I haven't done the deep research that he wanted me to do in the constitutional law area, but I do believe that we, a country that is growing and changing, and we do need some constitutional reform. If people remember, it was our party that brought up some constitutional reform, and I do believe that young people all around this country do believe that we have to change some things. So I'm all for constitutional reform and rethinking of those rules that bind us together.
All right. We do another caller via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're welcome. Let's hear from you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Allie, I welcome you into the political arena. I have a couple questions, though. Have you been around Grenada for a very long time?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, you must have known that the Grandin situation is not brand new. Quick question. What is the purpose of the road work from Concord to Grandins? What would you say is the biggest takeaway from that?
To increase our water capacity as a country.
Is that a necessary evil? Is that a necessary thing?
I think that is a necessary part of infrastructure development, yes.
Remember, this is the tourist belt. This is the airport. This is the pulse. Well, one of the most pulsing pulses of the nation. So do you think it's a good idea that the water be brought from Concord instead of giving visitors, less potable water to drink? Do you think that is a necessary piece of work that is being done right now?
I can't say to what is necessary because I'm not privy to all discussions involved to what made that decision. So I can't say what is necessary. But if the officials who have deemed it necessary, I would take it from their belief that it was necessary.
Mr. Dialli, I think that is one of the most necessary pieces of work that has been undertaken in a long time in Grenada. Bringing water, quality water to the south is a very, very necessary thing. Here's the thing about us Grenadians. We're impatient. And if it affects us, we deem it as a monster, as bad. Let me point out or ask you a question. How long were the Western persons in Grenada displaced in using not being able to use the Molyneux Road and using the Montmorris Road? How long do you think would you say that thing happened for?
I think that, if my mind serves me correct, it took us several years, but that wasn't a planned infrastructure work. That happened when some unforeseen circumstances destabilized the road and created an action plan in which they had to solve an issue. So that wasn't a planned infrastructure work.
Yes, but guess what? In several years, the people of the West Coast, although it's an act of God or whatever we want to call it, the people of the West Coast grit their teeth, went up Montmorris, the bus drivers, up Montmorris, truck drivers. Montmorris, I think, has some of the most dangerous roads in Grenada. And people band their belly and they traversed the Montmorris Road to and from St. David every day. To and from, Lord, my love for St. David's, to and from St. George to the West Coast every day. So I think taking such drastic action and the complaints that's coming from the South, I understand it's happening to you and who feels it knows it. But I think the people of the South needs to be a little more patient. The bus drivers of the South needs to be a little more patient. Yes, more consultation should have gone into the work, but I do think that it's a necessary, very, very necessary piece of work that's happening. And I think I kind of looking side eye at the people who's opposing that work because of the industry that it benefits. So welcome to the political arena. I hope to hear a lot more of you. And boss, let me tell you something. Grenada love the youth when they make a contribution. So stand on your point. Stand in your truth, and congratulations again.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. So anyone respond to the caller? And that was my final caller for the moment. We're a bit over time.
I just want to tell that caller, I love her points, and she's completely right that the works benefit and is necessary to increase our water capacity. She and I are not far apart. I do believe, I started stating that I am one who believes in greater infrastructure work, urban planning, urban development. Our South is growing fast in population. I all agree that we need greater infrastructure development. All I'm asking is that when we're doing infrastructure development, it takes a careful amount of planning. Any country that does an infrastructure works has to make sure that they're not just in doing their work, they're also making sure that the people, the patrons of businesses and all these people can manage their affairs while infrastructure work is going on. And I know a lot of hoteliers, and I know a lot of businessmen in the South. The reality is that everyone is hurting. It's not just the small man on a shop on the road, it's all businesses. And I'm not saying that we need to compromise not doing infrastructure because there'll be some inconveniences. I'm saying inconveniences will happen, but we can shorten that inconvenience if we put stakeholders and people first approach, so that people can make sure that they can see the development, but see it be done in a way that ensures that their lives and livelihoods are taken care of, that their businesses can go on, that the commuters can reach to their destinations, their children can go to school and not have a bus strike. All these things need to be communicated so all hands can work together. I believe as a country, we're more together on issues than we are far apart. I have friends out of NDC and family, and I have friends who are on the other side. We're more aligned with issues than we are far apart. We all want to see better for this country. We all want to see growth. We all want to see people's paychecks and their families benefit from this growth. We all want to see Grenadians thrive, not survive. We want to see greater Grenadians stay on show than leave the show. We are not far apart on these issues. We may choose a different political route in how we get this done, but we're all aligned in that we all want to see greater for Grenada. And I am a candidate, hoping to be a candidate for the South, who is going to push that kind of type of development. I want greater infrastructure development in the South because I see the opportunity, the economic benefit that can benefit the young people, the elderly who have the disposable income to invest. I see the foreign direct investment. I see all the people who come to our show and want to see a better tourism product. I see the tourists who come to our bar and want to see more creativity in how we present our drinks. I see all these things. I want better for my country, and I'm in this battle. I'm in the trenches in this political battle to fight for my country and fight for my constituents in the south of St. George. And that is why I'm here, is to fight for what I believe is the best course forward for this country, and that is with the New National Party.
All right. So, Allie, I want to, of course, thank you for being on the program this morning. It's always a pleasure having you on the program. Anything in closing before we take a wrap for today?
I'd just like to tell to my fellow Grenadians that I am only trying to do best for my country, and I'm only trying to help bring forth a vision that many young people also see for their country. We are people that all love and take a great deal of pride in our country, and that is how we want to do. We want to build Grenada better, bigger, better, and forward.
All right. Thank you once again, sir, and best wishes until we meet again. All the best.
Same, brother.
Hey, folks, that's where we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. I want to thank all who contributed to today's program, those who sat at home or you listened, and somewhere or the other you suddenly was part of us. Thank you so much. Join me again for another edition tomorrow, once your mind provides. Have a good one, folks. That's what we say. Good.
Classic FM 105.5 and 105.9.
Real value IGA, the one that you can trust. Big savings every day. Fresh deals, yes, it's a must. We care for our hometown. We're lifting people up. Good.